with vegetables. Now, if anyone follows my videos, you'll see that I use them a lot in my cooking. I use them even more just day to day. We always have them in the refrigerator. It is a very, very important part of our diet. Why? Well, because they're delicious. It's comprised of, well, vegetables and vinegar and water and spices. It is very, very healthful. It is very low in calories. It has zero oil. It has no salt, and it's phenomenally delicious. Today we're going to make five different forms of pickled vegetables. They come from 5 different countries, 5 different traditions. We'll start off with the Italian giardiniera. I'll tell you why in a little bit. There's a reason behind it. We're going to do Vietnamese dauchois, and the dauchois is what you would normally put in a banh mi sandwich. And you'll see that it has kind of a special spice profile and a special profile of vegetables. We're going to do a French carrot, pickled French carrot. We do pickled carrots all the time, and we're huge fans of the French culinary tradition. You're going to love these. They're kind of along the lines of the traditional carrot rapinée, but we're doing them a little bit different. We're going to do curtido, which we did once before when I did a demonstration of making pupusas from El Salvador. I like that one because it features cabbage, which is one of my very, very favorite foods, and it's almost like a slaw, but it's like a salad, and it's delicious. And then one from my earlier life when I was a pre-Columbian archaeologist traveling through Central America. This is something you get you can find it in any restaurant, and by any restaurant I mean the tiny ones where your table is the only table and it's in somebody's living room. But it's escabeche, which is a Mexican dish of pickled vegetables. And escabeche, it's going to rock your taco bar next time when you do it. Or it's great to put on your bowls. It's great to put in your wraps. Absolutely delicious. We're going to start out with the Italian giardiniera. Why? Because I like the name. Why do I like the name? Because it's so honest. What it means is stuff that comes from my garden. Really, the whole idea behind giardiniera is not to have a recipe. It's a way that you can put up the food that you have that's available now in your garden. We all see those beautiful jars that they have, and they've got every little piece of cauliflower perfectly placed, and they're really kind of intimidating. Giardiniera really isn't about that. Giardiniera is simple peasant food. It's pickling the vegetables that come out of your garden. We tend to do giardiniera in bigger chunks, if you can see. We have some whole pearl onions. Big chunks of red bell pepper. We have the cauliflower. Carrots, of course, there's got to be carrots in everything. There's some green beans in here. There's some garlic. It's phenomenal flavors. So what do we do? So first thing that I do, we chop all the vegetables, which we've done for you already. And I start by measuring, not using measuring cups, but I take the vessel that I'm going to make it in. And, I'll select the jar based on what will fit the vegetables that I've got that I want to pickle. Sometimes I've got 3 carrots left and I'm going to pickle them, so tomorrow I've got something for lunch. Sometimes it's something more formal like this, but you begin with the size of the jar. And you measure the liquid based on what goes in the jar. I'm going to give you some basic ratios. We're not going to use any. I do have a measuring cup here, but really it's all about ratios and it's all about eyeballing. Another note I want to make sure you understand. We're making refrigerator pickles. It is not intended that these then get canned and held for a long period of time. I got to tell you, I do believe that the level of acidity in each of these recipes is sufficient, but I haven't measured it. And if you're going to be putting it up for a long period of time, really make sure that you check your acidity and that you're okay there. So we're going to get started. First thing that we're going to do is let's measure out our liquids. In this case, we're going to be using white wine vinegar. White wine vinegar, champagne vinegar, they're very similar. You know, champagne vinegar is a little bit milder. When I can get it, I get it. This is white wine vinegar and water. In this case, for giardiniera, it's 2-to-1, 2 parts water, 1 part vinegar. I'm going to be doing 2 quarts. One's already filled because we chopped a lot, so since I don't have, you know, 1 jar to kind of just measure it, and usually I would just say, all right, I'm going to take this up to the 75%, which is the top line on the canning jar, and I'm going to do, you know, 1/3. I'll just eyeball 1/3 and eyeball 2/3, call it good. In this case, and don't tell anybody I did this, I'm going to measure, okay? Because in this case, I know what I have to do. I need to, so it's 4 and 4, so it's 3 and 3. I need to come up with 6 cups, 2-to-1. That's 4 and 2. So we'll start out with 2 cups of vinegar here. See, I'm breaking every rule. I told you that I wasn't going to measure, so we're going to start right in with measuring. You never know what to expect here. There it goes, 2 cups. Now let's get this thing going, and then we're going to put in 4 cups of water. Now the whole idea is you need to get this good and hot for a couple of reasons. One is you have to get your vegetables, the food you're actually going to be eating, up over 180 degrees for at least 90 seconds. It's just kind of basic food sanitation, and it's important to do. But it's also important because the spice mixtures that we're putting in, you know, it basically is an infusion. We're making a tea, so you got to make sure that you get it hot enough and that you let it simmer long enough so that you get the you get the outcome that you're looking for. So that's the liquid for giardiniera. We talked about the vegetables that we put in it. Let's talk a little bit about the spices. This is, of the ones we're going to do, the most complex. The other ones I think just use 1 blend. In total, 5 types of pickled vegetables. We're going to use 4 spice blends. We're going to, for the giardiniera, we're going to use my Italian herb blend. This is a really, really simple, basic blend of herbs. There's nothing in it but herbs. It's driven by the flavor of sage and oregano, which is a little, you know, usually we think of oregano heavy for a blend of Italian herbs, but it's got a good, strong Southern Italian flavor to it. In this case, we're going to put a tablespoonful in this, and you know, some people ask us, why don't we use normal size spice jars? I'm going to show you right now. You really can't do this with those tall spice jars that most people use. I mean, fit the whole spoon right in there. So that's 1 tablespoon of Italian herb blend from local Spicery. Check us out, www.localspicery.com. And then there's a whole bunch of pickling spices that we're going to add in for the giardiniera. We're doing a tablespoon of black peppercorn here. We're going to do a tablespoon of yellow mustard seed whole. We're going to do a teaspoon of celery seed whole. We're going to do a half teaspoon, no, it's a full teaspoon, sorry, of the fennel seed whole. I'm going to throw in a bay leaf, and here's my favorite, juniper berries. You open up a fresh bottle of juniper berries, smell it, and it smells like gin. It's delicious. So pearl onions, we're going to parboil them and peel them at the same time. You want to take a look at these things, and you can see this is where the leaves shoot up from the onion, and over here you can see the structure where the roots were. That's what we're going to go where the roots are, and with a very sharp knife, you want to just do a very shallow X just through the root part. And then we want to put it in a pot of boiling water. We're only going to have it in the water for a few minutes because we just want to partially boil it and cook it enough so that it loosens the skin on the onion so we can peel it very, very quickly and easily. So this is the last one. There we go. So we'll wait for 3 minutes. So it's been about 3 minutes, and I'm going to pull these out. You know, how do you know they're done? Well, usually when I pull them out, if I squeeze it, I can feel just a little bit of give, and I can feel that the paper of the onion just slides right off. You're pretty much there. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it right here in cold water. This is an ice water bath. Normally I wouldn't go to the great extent of an ice water bath. I just rinse it in the sink into a colander. But this is what I have, so we're going with it. And you can see, after having parboil it, you can just peel these onions right with your fingers. This is a trick I learned once when I was when I had to peel 4 pounds of these for a Thanksgiving dinner with my father-in-law, and it was a very, very much appreciated time saver. So I do that. I'm going to cut the rest of the root structure off, and that's ready, nice and just nice and soft, and it's ready to go into our pickle. Okay, so we're just starting to boil here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the heat down just a tad. Medium high. I may take it down a little bit more because obviously you don't want a huge roiling boil. For those of you that are watching with AromaVision, now's a good time to turn it on because my kitchen is starting to smell amazing. What I'm going to do is, while I'm waiting for this, what I like to do, I think I told you, give it about 3 minutes once it gets to this point to continue to simmer and to boil and to develop. And while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm going to go ahead and fill this other jar. I've got that one full, but let's fill this other jar. One thing it's good to do is, if you've got, long linear things like carrot sticks or green beans, or in this case chilies, to lay them down first and get them all kind of oriented in the same order. Very, very important that we have order in our giardiniera. And then once you have order, you go for it. But we do want it fairly tightly packed, because once you add the hot water and the vegetables start to boil down a little bit, they'll close up and have a tighter space together. So it'll seem like there's not, you'll start with this thing completely full and stuffed, but once you start putting the hot water in, you'll think, hey, where did it all go? Okay, I think that is about what I can do. Put this over here on the side. Now, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bay leaf out, because we're going to have to divide this between 2 jars. And any of you that ever raise kids know that if you've got, 1 piece of cake and 2 kids, you've got a problem. So here we go. I'm going to turn this off at this point. Anybody that's ground truthing me and looking at me saying, wait a minute, you said 90 seconds at 180 degrees. Well, this is, probably close to 220 degrees right now, and it's going to be a while before it cools down. So I think we're good. So I'm just going to pour this directly in. In this case, you'll see I am just leaving, I'm going to leave all of the whole spices in here with it. A lot of times, particularly if I'm doing something with a true pickling spice, has a lot of broken bay leaf, I will try to filter it out. But in this case, when I think giardiniera, I want to see some seeds and some peppercorns and some things swimming around with my vegetables. And there we go. And this is pretty much it. What I like at this point, I'm going to leave them out on the counter. I'm going to put the lids on. I'm not going to close them. I'm just going to put them on loosely and let them cool down until they're, about room temperature. And then they go back, then they go into the refrigerator. With giardiniera, I like, if you're hungry and you need it now, in 2 hours you're going to get a flavor out of it. But if it sits in there for a couple of days, it only gets better. So we're going to move on.